You know, when you think about the British royals, you often picture this grand, unshakable institution, right? But what we're seeing unfold right now, it's like a political drama playing out in real time, and honestly, it's wild. We've got Meghan Markle, who everyone thought was building this unstoppable commercial empire in America, suddenly hit by this absolute bombshell from London. And it's not some random tabloid, it's Sarah Ferguson breaking her silence. And believe me, she's not messing around. Here's the thing, this isn't about protecting the monarchy or some noble quest for justice. Come on, we're talking about deep personal bitterness. Sarah, poor woman, she genuinely believes Meghan was the reason her chance to reconcile with Andrew, to remarry him, totally blew up. Think about that for a second. She saw her security, her status, her entire future as a duchess slip away, and she's convinced it's all down to Meghan. That's a powerful motive, isn't it? It's not just gossip, it's a woman fighting for her past and her perceived lost future. She's been cast out, living in a cramped rental, while Meghan's living the high life in Montecito. That kind of disparity fuels a fire, seriously. So, what does Sarah do? She decides to weaponize whispers she's heard for years in European high society, an illicit connection between Andrew and Meghan back in 2002. She's not just hinting, she's accusing Meghan of being an atmosphere creator, hired entertainment on Andrew's luxury yacht, the Blue Infinity in Nice. And get this, Sarah claims she has damning evidence, videos from the yacht, audio recordings of Andrew calling Meghan's name in his sleep. You've got to be kidding me, right? This isn't just a slight, it's an outright assault on Meghan's carefully crafted image. Now, Meghan's reaction? It's not outrage, it's pure, unadulterated panic. The moment that blood red headline hits, she absolutely melts down. She spent millions erasing digital footprints, altering records, building this fairy tale of a struggling student. Her past as a party girl in the Mediterranean was supposed to be buried forever. But Sarah, this destitute and vindictive woman, as Meghan probably sees her, she's digging it all up, and then Harry walks in, newspaper in hand, looking furious. But Meghan, she flips the switch. Instant tears, trembling fragility, playing the victim perfectly. She manipulates Harry, stopping him from suing Sarah for defamation. Why? Because a lawsuit means discovery. It means old passports, flight schedules, personnel lists from 2002, former crew members as witnesses. The lie, her carefully constructed lie, would be exposed naked before the law. She uses tears and protecting the family from toxic noise to disarm him. Harry, bless his naive heart, he falls for it thinking she's being noble. But Meghan's silence, that tactical retreat, it's a fatal mistake. Sarah, she senses blood in the water. That silence, for her, it's a confession. So she escalates. She leaks a chilling detail through an anonymous social media account. Andrew bragged about an American girl on the yacht with a small butterfly tattoo on her left lower back, calling it the mark of the wild. Within hours, internet detectives unearth an old bikini photo of Meghan from 2003. Zoom in, and what do you see? A faint, slightly raised scar, classic sign of incomplete laser tattoo removal. Boom. Sarah wasn't guessing. She knew. That's the first mask peeled away, and you know what? It's just the beginning. Meghan, she couldn't just stay silent. Her victim strategy quickly shifted to passive counterattack. She wouldn't argue directly. Come on, that'd lower her Duchess status. Instead, she activated her massive US media network. Within 24 hours, boom, a barrage of articles shredded Sarah Ferguson's credibility. Headlines flew, "The desperation of the Duchess of York when poverty turns to paranoia," or "Why Meghan Markle chose to forgive her pitchable aunt-in-law." Seriously? She constructed this saintly forgiving image, sending a patronizing message of compassion for Sarah's financial and mental struggles. She sat there in Montecito, smirking, thinking she was winning, turning the attacker into an object of pity. But here's the thing, Sarah Ferguson, in her cramped London apartment, she saw right through that fake nobility. Those articles calling her paranoid, they made her colder, more ruthless. She realized attacking honor wasn't enough. She needed something more private, more sinister. So Sarah delivered the most vicious blow. Not a loud interview, no. She recounted a specific, vivid, and frankly, creepy memory via an anonymous audio recording. And this thing, it went viral instantly. You hear Sarah's voice, low and haunting, recounting, trying to reconcile with Andrew back in 2003. She describes Andrew, often drunk, passing out in their royal bedroom. In the silence, she heard it. Andrew started talking in his sleep, not just mumbling, he called out a name. His voice, full of desire. Andrew called Meghan's name. Sarah described how he sounded, asserting it was the sound of a man recalling deep carnal intimacy. She understood that name, Meg, had haunted Andrew's subconscious since that fateful trip to Nice in 2002. This detail, I gotta tell you, carried more destructive power than any financial evidence. It implied a physical, mental connection between the uncle-in-law and the niece-in-law. A psychological incest, frankly, that made you shudder. It transformed their relationship from social to illicit. In Montecito, Harry, he was the one most heavily impacted by this whisper. He sat alone in his dark office, completely isolated from Meghan. He listened to Sarah's narration over and over. Her vivid description made him see the scene, his scandalous uncle lusting after his wife in his sleep. Harry's stomach churned. He recalled Meghan's strange comfort with Andrew, how she'd called him the most interesting person in your family. That sentence now echoed like a confession. The image of the saintly, forgiving wife Meghan had just built, it crumbled in Harry's eyes. Jealousy, disgust, suspicion, it just ate away at Harry's mind, creating an irreparable crack in his marriage. He couldn't look at Meghan the same way. Every time she touched him, he flinched, pulled away, an involuntary reflex, betraying the growing disgust inside him. Harry needed the truth. He couldn't live in this filthy suspicion, and he knew he couldn't ask Meghan. She'd cry, play the victim. He needed an objective source, someone who was there, witnessed it all, but was forced to remain silent. He remembered Steve, Andrew's closest royal protection officer, RPO, in the early 2000s. Steve was Andrew's shadow, but Steve? He was mercilessly fired by the palace, stripped of his pension after the Epstein scandal. He was a disgruntled recluse now. That night when Meghan was asleep, Harry pulled out an old satellite phone. No digital trace. He found Steve's emergency contact. The call connected after long rings. Harry went straight to the point. He asked Steve to confirm an American girl on the yacht, the Blue Infinity, in August 2002. He didn't need her real name. He needed to know how Andrew referred to her. The line went silent. Old loyalty, those NDAs, battled with resentment. Finally, the truth, buried for 20 years, was revealed. Steve confirmed, a black-haired, dark-skinned American girl, very articulate and full of ambition, had been there for 3 weeks. But what left Harry dead inside? Not her presence, but the nickname Andrew had given her. According to Steve, Andrew didn't call her Meghan. He called her by a private code name full of possession and favor, Black Pearl. Harry dropped the phone onto the desk. The whole world just collapsed beneath his feet. Black Pearl. That was the very nickname Harry had used for Meghan during their first days of secret dating in Botswana. When he whispered that name for the first time, Meghan had teared up, hugged him, and said, "No one has ever called me that. It is the most beautiful name. It is our destiny." A blatant, cruel lie. That nickname wasn't a creation of love. It was the residue of a sordid past. She had brought a name from debauched parties with his uncle into their sacred marriage. She had recycled the script used to seduce Andrew and applied it to him. She viewed him as a replacement, a fool to clean up the ruins of her past. This coincidence, it couldn't be random. It was the most damning proof that Meghan had known Andrew beforehand, and their relationship was deep enough to have private codes. Harry buried his head in his hands. The feeling of betrayal hurt more than any physical wound. The image of the perfect wife shattered, revealing the portrait of a master manipulator. But Harry didn't act immediately. The suspicion was confirmed, but he needed physical evidence to confront the world's greatest actress, his wife. He needed something she couldn't deny with tears. He texted Sarah Ferguson for the first time after 5 years of estrangement. The message was short and cold. "You said you have proof. Give it to me." Sarah Ferguson's phone, man, it just lit up like a lighthouse in a storm, you know what I mean? Harry's text, "You said you have proof. Give it to me." It wasn't just a request, it was her lifeline. She knew deep down time was running out. Meghan's legal team in the US, they were already finishing up the lawsuit filings. If Sarah couldn't produce something concrete, something undeniable, Within 24 hours, she was toast. Crushed by the Sussexes' multi-million-dollar machine, facing prison for not being able to pay damages. Seriously, it was do or die. But here's the thing about Andrew, right? Narcissist, pathological habit of keeping trophies. Plane tickets, hotel bills, meticulously detailed expense logs, not just to track money, but to relive his golden days. You know, Sarah knew this. She knew the evidence existed. The problem? King Charles, bless his heart, had evicted Andrew from the Royal Lodge a few months back. And all his stuff just piled up like trash in some damp, gross self-storage unit on the outskirts of London. Sarah, being the clever one, had rented it under a fake name, keeping it all under wraps. So, 10 o'clock at night, pouring rain in London, she's driving her old car to this warehouse. Area silent as a grave, wind whistling through rusty corrugated iron roofs. She gets to Unit 104, rolls up the door, and man, the smell must have been something else. Mold, paper, dust, and just failure. Hundreds of cardboard boxes stacked chaotically to the ceiling. She's ripping them open like a madwoman, tossing aside old uniforms, forgotten paintings, dusty medals. She wasn't looking for treasure, though. She was looking for Andrew's Pandora's box, a moss green iron ammunition box. This thing, she knew, held his darkest secrets, stuff even she wasn't allowed to touch back at the Royal Lodge. She'd secretly shoved it into a miscellaneous box during the move, just a gut feeling that one day it would save her life. Time's ticking. Sweat's mixing with rain on her face, nails breaking, hands all scratched up, despair starting to creep in. If she didn't find it, she was done. The clock hits 2 a.m., and she's just slumped on the cold concrete floor, exhausted. Then, bam. Flashlight beam accidentally sweeps under a rusty metal shelf in the far corner. A glint of metal. She squints, crawls over, brushes away old newspapers. There it was. Andrew's old military iron box. Her heart must have been pounding like crazy. It's heavy, cold, locked with a 3-ring mechanical combination. Sarah takes a deep breath, trying to think like Andrew. What was the code? Queen's birthday? No. Their wedding anniversary? Nope. Then it hits her, summer of 2002. Nice. The Blue Infinity. Andrew always called that trip the pinnacle of freedom. The day the yacht set sail from Nice, October 8th, 2002. She turns the dials. 108. Click. Man, that sound, opening in the dead of night, must have been like a gunshot. She trembles, opens the lid. No jewels. Just a tattered black leather notebook and 3 mini cassette tapes, those old Sony recorder ones from the 90 seconds. She grabs the notebook, Andrew's neat handwriting on the cover. Logbook, summer 2002, the good times. This was his black expense ledger. She flips through pages, huge numbers, 50,000 euros for wine, 20,000 euros for caviar. Then she stops. August 14th, 2002. Flashlight close to the paper, eyes widening. Andrew's handwriting, clear as day, undeniable. External staff costs. Sophie, France, 3,000 euros. Elelina, Russia, 3,000 euros. Meghan M, USA, ref by MA, 10,000 euros. Note, bonus 2,000 euros. Cash reason, excellent service attitude, codename Black Pearl. She had to cover her mouth to stifle a scream. You know? 10,000 euros for Meghan M. 3 times what the other girls got. Excellent service attitude and codename Black Pearl. It matched Steve's info perfectly. This was it. Solid legal evidence. Meghan wasn't a guest. She was hired staff. Accepted cash to serve. But Sarah wasn't finished. She saw those cassette tapes. Grabs an old Walkman from the bottom of the box. Andrew used it to re-listen to his conquests. Seriously. Puts in the tape labeled Black Pearl. Headphones on. Presses play. Static. Soft jazz. Waves lapping. Then Andrew's voice slurring, drunk. Come now, my Black Pearl. Show everyone your real talent. You're worth every penny I spent. And then, man, a female voice. Flirtatious, calculated, but that unmistakable California accent. Meghan Markle. The voice, Sarah, Harry, the whole world had heard 100 times on podcasts. As long as you're happy, Andy, I'll do whatever you want, but you have to remember your promise to introduce me to the directors in London, okay? I'm doing this for my future. Sarah turns it off, takes off the headphones, sitting there in the dark warehouse, just smiling coldly. This wasn't just proof of an affair. This was proof of a transaction. Meghan Markle wasn't some victim being used. She was a seasoned emotional merchant willing to use her body to trade for a chance to climb into the British elite. And worst of all, she called Andrew Andy. Coarse familiarity. Sarah, she had a nuclear weapon in her hands. She snaps a photo of the diary page, records the tape, sends it, Harry's secret phone number. Man, that's just savage.